I've been waiting to sort of have the perfect words, the perfect setup, and everything for this, but I'm realizing it's not going to be perfect. And I wanted to be all chirpy while I was talking about this, but I started traveling internationally when I was 6, and I've been to many countries. Anytime people ask me about my experience, I usually feel like I can't disclose the truth, and this recent one was a bit bad. Yeah, a bit a bit bad. I've sort of been trying to collect my thoughts on it, but yeah, I will begin, I guess. I wanted to leave America for a really long time, and my heart wanted to go back to Kenya. However, logistically, I just could not make it work. And when the opportunity came to go to Finland, I was like, oh, this will be a good thing for me. And it was like, I was excited about life again. I was very skeptical about Finland. I asked many people many questions about it, but I was still excited about it. And so I went, and Finland was not terrible for me socially, and this is me trying to make things not seem as bad as they were. But socially, I was doing well. I adjusted pretty well to the scene and was pretty involved in many things. However, my body just could not take it, because it was like I was resisting something constantly in terms of my body. I thought it was normal because everyone mentioned that winter was really hard on you, especially your first winter. But for me, no matter how I tried or what I tried to do, it just got worse. Like, I felt this pressure constantly in my body. I felt sick all the time. I reacted really badly to when it was snowing. I felt really sleepy, like I couldn't get myself to move at times. And yeah, I haven't even started on my allergies, but that was from the winter, because winter really for people outside Finland begins in, or people who have not lived in Finland and are not acclimated to the climate, begins officially in September. However, if you've acclimated to the climate, it begins November. And so from September to, I guess, the winter solstice is when I realized like something was not right. And at the time I just like kept going, because that's what I had learned I had learned not to listen to my body and just like keep going no matter what. And this is a common message that if you're an immigrant, you're told that it's okay, keep going, you'll make it, like go through the pain, it's going to be fine at the end of the road. And for me, I wasn't reaching that fine, that sort of endpoint that everyone said I should be. And I will start listing my allergies because I developed many of them. I became allergic to vitamin D, which was because of the sunflower oil. And the sunflower oil was causing so much damage to my body that I developed a hormonal imbalance. And then I was getting eggs, and I didn't know they were the eggs with added hormones, and so that made it worse on top of the sunflower oil, which I didn't know I was allergic to. And this is just a different issue to the reacting to the air pressure, because that made me feel like I was sick in my nose and my throat, and I got like numerous headaches. So it was that reacting to the air pressure, which was changing a lot because climate change. Finland is affected as well by climate change. And it was just really hard, is all I could say. I think at this point I've accepted it in many ways that my body just cannot handle that type of weather. And also, the allergies. There's the vitamin D, the sunflower, and then I already had allergies coming in to like cumin and other things. However, the sunflower oil allergy was quite new and different, and I couldn't identify it early. And because I couldn't take vitamin D, because I would react to the vitamin D because of taking the sunflower oil, everything just became this cyclic. I don't know what's going on with me. I began taking medication, and that helped with the side effects from taking sunflower oil and using it without knowing I was allergic to it. Oh yeah, and also the lactose. I was also sensitive to lactose. Even lactose-free milk, I became sensitive to it. I don't know how else to explain it, because my inkling is to try to be chirpy, but there's nothing sort of chirpy about this. Like, I want to share this because I feel like people are often told to just like keep on going and keep beating themselves past the limits their body is clearly showing them, and I'm tired of that. And it's taken me a while to notice that, because like I was saying, I took medication, and that's because I realized there was nothing I could do for my skin, for anything, and so I had to go to a doctor to figure it out. And the medication also had adverse side effects getting used to it, and so it was quite hard, is all I can say. It was really difficult. Yeah, and with all of this, I still had people saying I should or I will adjust with time, and each day it felt like a race against my body where I was like, is today going to be the day where I was it called, where something happened, like something drastic happened. And even with that, I didn't leave. I didn't leave. I still kept trying to make it work, not listening. I kept trying. And it was hard to push and push and push. And I think that's a reason why I'm really exhausted where I am right now. I'm really exhausted. And I think if I stayed, something would have happened. And I dislike how, as an immigrant, specifically an immigrant with not so many options, you are encouraged to stay in a place that is harming you in that way. Because I talked to many other people who are experiencing similar symptoms, not to the same severity, but their symptoms never made them reflect on how the area they are in was causing harm because of their circumstances. And I'm lucky, very lucky, that I had circumstances that allowed me to not have to stay, and also try a lot in experimenting with things that worked for my body. Because if I didn't have the knowledge, if I didn't ask people about what to do and was like confident in something being off with me, I would have just ended up being another statistic and rolling through the cracks. But yeah, it's quite difficult. I don't know how else to express it or explain it other than I went to Finland. Finland is very pretty, very beautiful. I would recommend going. However, it just wasn't for my body, and that is something that is hard to accept. Very difficult to accept, and I dislike how people are constantly being pushed to do things that are not good for their body. Even in the summer, which I must add, I experienced the same air pressure changing symptoms. And so it's not really like a matter of weather, it's more severe in the winter because of the cold. But still, it's pretty constant. Yeah. And I don't know, I don't really have encouraging words for people, because it was good to learn that my body is not accustomed or cannot adjust in certain places. However, it was a hard journey to accept that. I will say it was very illuminating for me to see how much I would refuse to listen to my body. That was an interesting thought piece, I guess. And I'm making this to just talk to anyone thinking of making a move, especially if you have sensitivities or you don't know you have sensitivities, or you already know that you have sensitivities, that you're not alone. And this happens, like, our bodies are compatible with certain climates in certain places, and sometimes you're not compatible and cannot adjust to others. And what was hard for me was that I was telling people about like how much pain I was in, and each person said it would pass. Even after I started taking medication, they said it would pass, even as it was not passing. And that's what I want to combat. I want to combat this idea that the body is a war. You do not have to be at war with your body. You could listen to your body. I didn't listen to mine, and now I am more so in pain than I began. I kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. I just didn't listen to what my limit was. And I think as an immigrant, you are constantly told not to listen to your limit. And it's because often everyone is looking at you as a hope. I see many videos of people in America wanting to leave, and I don't know. I wouldn't encourage anyone to leave unless they weighed the decision very heavily, because I think travel has made into this very casual thing where you see a video and someone saying, I'm moving to this place. And moving doesn't work like that. Because moving could not be discussed in 9 seconds. Moving is a longer process, one that takes a toll on you physically, emotionally, mentally. And if you're considering moving, you have to look into all of that. And it's not as simple as taking a plane. Also, planes are really expensive. Like, flights are super expensive right now. I don't know. These prices, someone's got to do something about these prices. Everyone keeps saying it's the oil. I don't know, but moving is not just a simple act of going from one place to another. It is the surrender that you are giving to a place to take care of you and hoping that the care will come back. And there are multiple aspects of care. And for me, I enjoyed the social care. I miss many of my friends, the bonds I made, the trust we built, the conversations in the snow, the falls. I miss that. However, I don't miss my body aching. I don't miss my body screaming all the time. Being in pain, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. It's weird to be in a place where my body doesn't ache, because it's a reminder of how much pain I was in, and I just sort of ignored. And then it makes me question what has taught me to ignore my own pain. And then who benefits from me ignoring my pain. Yeah, that's it, I think.